We're a very low-grade ore body here, so production is imperative. Our target turnaround time under fire assay was 48 hours, but it very rarely happened that way.
We could be waiting, months to get results back.
We had a grade control problem where the lead time from fire assay would mean that dig blocks are suddenly held up, and we've got excavators that need to pivot to go to other operational areas, resulting in production delays.
There were two main challenges with fire assay. The first was that error is additive, and there is a lot of steps in the fire assay process where things can go wrong. Once things go wrong and you have to repeat jobs, that leads to the second problem, which is the turnaround time. It blows out. Our target turnaround time under fire assay was 48 hours, but it very rarely happened that way. If one job needed repeating, that pushed the turnaround time out to 50, 60 hours.
The frustration mainly around fire assay is the uncertainty in the analysis. And with uncertainty increases the risk.
We can't have diggers parked up waiting for assays to get back. If the diggers aren't working, we aren't making money. So we've had multiple episodes in the past where we've had to wait for samples to be repeated, and that's held up the whole mining process. And we've had to come up with a plan B or simply park the pit up while we wait, and that's very costly.
Sometimes they would dispose of the samples before you got to the chance of actually, sorry, we need them redone. Then you got lost results or results you can't trust.
The expectation in the contract was 2 weeks turnaround for exploration samples, but quite often with operational requirements, we deprioritised exploration samples. That was always a level of frustration because sometimes you want those samples turned around so you can make the next decision. When I first heard about PhotonAssay, I was intrigued more than anything.
One of our geologists came and said, I found this new technology, it looks really exciting. And I've never seen a geologist excited about much, but they were definitely very excited about this. Part of being a good CI manager is we're always interested in innovation and new technology. So I was really also excited to hear about something that was a paradigm shift in the way that we could undertake this work.
I had a certain amount of skepticism. I was trying to see the best in things, but it seemed too good to be true, to be honest. I then took a trip over to Queensland, to Ravenswood mine, and we saw the machine in action over there. From that point on, I was started to lose that skepticism and become a little more believe in it. We had to convince ourselves that it was better than fire assay or comparable, and we did quite a lot of comparison work. I wanted an understanding of the realistic turnaround time we'd achieve from moving to PhotonAssay. If we were going to be processing our tail samples, we wanted to know about the accuracy and precision at that lower end of the scale, 0.1 and below.
So we did a reasonable amount of comparison work between PhotonAssay and fire assay. With time, we've become more comfortable with the accuracy and precision we're getting at that low end, and that's come from, I guess, our mine-to-mill reconciliation has been as good, if not better.
The overall cost was fairly comparable with fire assay, but then there's other benefits that are slightly more intangible, like the improved turnaround time. Down at the lab, we used a lot of LPG for the fire assay furnaces. We no longer require that. There were less steps. That also added to the speedier turnaround.
That reduction in the number of steps required between fire assay and PhotonAssay means that there's less potential errors associated with getting a representative sample in PhotonAssay compared to fire assay. It provides more confidence in analysis of the sample and helps drive better decisions in the whole process flow from exploration through to mining.
The way we implemented Chrysos was through a project manager, so a member of my team took on that lead role of making sure the machine was set up and established correctly. And also part of the commissioning, we maintained PhotonAssay for a period of time, so we had that redundancy until the confidence was built in the performance of the Chrysos machine.
It later turned out to be coincidence, but the month that we switched to PhotonAssay, we had a big negative reconciliation with the mill reconciliation. So, of course, all eyes were focused on the PhotonAssay, but there were a number of other changes we'd also made in the plant and in the mining process at the same time. So it just goes to show that you shouldn't just pick on the latest and greatest change you've made.
Chrysos were always willing and able to provide us with as much information as we needed while we're going through the installation and the commissioning of the new machine, even sending a team of engineers to site to help make that process as smooth as possible.
Having engineers on site is excellent. We've got a good relationship with those guys, and if anything's too difficult, we can just ring up Thean and elevate the response quite quickly.
About a year ago or something, we switched over to PhotonAssay, and the improvements were amazing. It was so nice to just get the results back, import them, don't have to send off PhotonAssay, or don't have to send off for refiring, don't have to look at the firing orders and work out which serums have failed and which set of samples you have to get redone, and then hope that the lab still got them.
The thing for me is how underwhelming the machine is. Like when you get all excited about this PhotonAssay machine, and you're thinking there's going to be like the CERN, Large Hadron Collider being built on your site, but you get up there and it's this giant white box and it beeps at you every now and then. But I think that's part of the beauty of it. It is so simple and it's so clean and it just works.
The actual installation and initializing of the machine was fairly seamless. We put through a lot of samples just to get baselines, CRMs. We had a big program of comparisons with PhotonAssay through our current lab, and when we were happy with that, we just cut the ties and decommissioned the PhotonAssay, and we've never looked back.
For me, it's about how can we get our shovels moving more dirt in the right places at the right time. That's the fundamental change that we see with Chrysos. We're getting the assays back on our grade control patterns far quicker than what we were under PhotonAssay, so our miners aren't waiting.
Turning over of benches, getting assay results back faster than previously has meant we can change partly how we mine.
Straight away, we had much better turnaround time. Our turnaround time's basically halved. We've got real world turnaround times of sub 24 hours, which leads on to another benefit for us. We can sample more, we can get more data. The engineers love the fact that their planning processes are much simplified by having the data in front of them. We know where we're going to be mining next week, and we can be agile and adapt in our planning processes to suit the business needs.
What it's really allowing us is more flexibility in where we can mine. The areas in front of us are opening up and they're there, and we're not having to walk machines as much as a result.
The 500 gram sample gives us a much larger aliquot, which improves precision than the 30 gram we were previously using under PhotonAssay.
With the change from doing PhotonAssay to PhotonAssay, we've had a large improvement with the quality of the results coming back. We no longer have to send off for refiring. When we have a CRM fail, all the QA/QC stuff is done before we get the results. It's a couple buttons and our results are in and we're good to go start using them. There's less prep time, less room for error in the prep. All they really have to do is crush the sample and send it off, whereas before there was a lot more tedious processes involved in the PhotonAssay.
With PhotonAssay, it's a lot simpler. It's simply do the prep and feed the jar into the machine and then get your result. Couldn't be simpler than that.
Look, I think it's a really exciting change, not just for Oceana, but also for the entire industry.
In my mind, I was thinking, geez, it's taken so long to swap from PhotonAssay to PhotonAssay, so it highlights how slow our industry moves at times.
We initially signed on for a 20,000 sample per month deal with Chrysos. We're now ramping up to 28,000 a month and potentially more. Plus we also run third-party samples through our machine from other mine sites around New Zealand at this stage, and we get a rebate based on that. So it's good business sense for all of us.
Don't be scared off by the idea that you've got some giant X-ray machine in a shed out the back somewhere, because it's not scary tech. It's all very safe, it's clean. You're going to get faster results, which means you're going to be able to get out there and move more tonnes through your mining operation.
I think the days of fire assay are on the wane. It just simply doesn't stack up compared to this new technology. I would definitely investigate it if I moved to another mine. I would be pushing this technology if I found they were still using fire assay.
With proper due diligence, we've decided to adopt the new PhotonAssay technology, and at this stage we've got no regrets.